Hi, welcome to another episode. So today we are on another long trip. I'm off down to London again. When I get to London, I'm going to spend a couple of nights there. Then I'm headed up to Coventry for EVs in the Park, and hopefully I'll see a few of you there. So yeah, what I'm going to try and do this time is I'm going to try and follow Lemon Tea Leaf's strategy of using the battery down to the 40% mark, charging it back up to 90%, and then carrying on, and then just bouncing between 40 and 90%. So I typed this into PlugShare using what I guessed would be about 40% of the range, and it reckons I'll have to do 3 charging stops. Now I'm not sure if I've gotten the ranges wrong, or if it's just that 3 is enough. I'll be charging in slightly different locations to last time, and we'll see if I can get away with avoiding any temperature issues. Now it's quite warm today. It's 9:18 in the morning and it's 18 degrees Celsius. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the dashboard. I'm just going to reset things to 0. I've got 100% in the battery. I'm going to go grab some food from McDonald's and then we'll get on our way. Okay, so a quick look through the dashboard. Hopefully I'll try and remember to do these properly. So we've got drive computer 1. I've literally just reset that. Same for drive computer 2. And down in the bottom right corner, we've got trip computer A and B both set to 0. Right, so yeah, let's also check out the battery temperature while we're here, just so you can get an idea of where that is. Yeah, so I believe we're 1 notch below the centre mark already. So let's see if we can keep this temperature down over the course of the journey and get there reasonably quickly. Okay, right, so we have travelled 1.7 miles to McDonald's. By the time I've had food, it's been about 26 minutes, so that will have pushed the average speed down. So do be aware of that when looking at the drive computer stats. Now I'm planning to have 3 stops along the way. Holiday in Doncaster, Leicester Forest East Services, and a Mercure Hotel in St Albans. So hopefully those 3 will do us. If it looks like I'm going to get quite significantly below 40% at any point, I will alter this and just dip into the next available charger, because I don't want to go too low into the battery. But yeah, according to PlugShare, that should probably do, assuming I've put in the right estimation for what 40% of the battery, what 60% of the battery will get me. Right, so I am ready to set off. So yeah, let's get going. Right, okay, so we've made it to Ferrybridge services, slight change of plans. It didn't look like we were going to make it down to Doncaster, but we've got here with 42%, 68 miles on the gone. We travelled about 74 miles, so it looks like my calculations are a little bit off. We'll plug in, we'll charge for half an hour, and we will get going. And luckily, it looks like one of these chargers is on free vent, so we'll try our luck with that. Okay, so we've just plugged in. Battery temperature is pretty much exactly halfway. It reckons... well, I probably don't think we'll be here more than about half an hour, but we'll get up to 90% and then we'll disconnect. In the meantime, I'm going to plot a slightly different set of stops based on stopping every, well, how far do we travel? Hold on. We travelled, okay, so we travelled 74 miles from 100 down to 40. So if we say kind of every 65 miles-ish, we'll just stop and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we've got a slightly new charging strategy. PlugShare, for some reason, only works in kilometres, not miles, which isn't amazingly helpful to me because I understand miles better. But according to this, we've travelled about 125 kilometres down to here. So that's from about 100% down to 40%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for about 110 kilometres between stops, which should be about 65-ish miles between stops. Now it seems quite frequent, but it should get us, for every time we get back up to 90, it should drop us back down to 40. So I've adjusted our route. Obviously we'll come from home to Ferrybridge. We're going to go another 100 kilometres from here, or 62 miles, to Nottingham Holiday Inn. From there, we're going to go to Newport Pagnell services on the M1. And then we are going to have a quick splash and dash at Thurrock services again. And then we'll arrive in Bromley. So yeah, that should take care of our charging needs and help us fit this schedule quite nicely. Now at the moment we're pulling 40 kilowatts from this charger, so we're charging pretty much full speed. It was 44-ish when it was at the 50% mark, so we are doing quite nicely off this charger. Temperature is now one notch above that center point, and we're at 66%. I'm going to pop in, use the facilities, and hopefully we'll be closer to 90%. Right, I'll see you in a bit. One thing I forgot to show you when we arrived was the trip computer. Obviously the average speed, we were doing closer to 65, 70, mostly 70 all the way here. It's just because we stopped for half an hour, obviously getting some food before we set off. So that's average has been dragged down. Also been sat here for a little while as well, which has dragged the average down further, but that's where we are. I'll reset that just before we set off so the timer is as close to 0 as possible when we leave. Yeah. Okay, right, so we finished the charge with 91% in the battery. We are one notch over the halfway point, and it reckons we've got 146 miles of range. Okay, so I'm going to give my iPad a couple more minutes just to finish downloading a couple of files off the dash cam, and then we will get going. Okay, so we're at the Holiday Inn. We've got 43% in the battery. We have actually been here about 15 minutes. There was a Hyundai Ioniq on the charger. So we let them finish the charge, and that's given the battery a chance to cool down a little bit, although it's still showing one notch above the center point, which is where it was when I arrived. In terms of drive computer, I have been sat here for a little bit, so again it's going to have skewed the drive computer. I was sat here chatting for a bit, so yeah. I wasn't driving for an hour and 41 minutes. I think I've probably been here about 15-20 minutes, I think. Right, so anyway, let's get plugged in. So again, I'm going to charge up to 90%, and then we'll get on our way. Okay, so second charge of the day, we're pulling about 27 kilowatts. That's not too unreasonable. It's still going to get us where we need pretty quickly. Forgot to mention, the last charge took about 32-33 minutes, I believe. So we'll see how long this one takes. Okay, so we've been charging for 39 minutes. We're at 89%. Battery temperature is one notch above the first red bar, which is quite high, but it is 26 degrees outside, so it is a little bit understandable. We're going to finish this charge in just a moment, and then we're going to get going. Okay, right, so we've unplugged now. 90% in the battery. So let's go and reset the drive computers and the trip computer. So we'll reset that, and we'll reset that. Just a quick look at how we're doing overall. Travelled 135 miles total so far, and our average is obviously pretty low because the car's been on while I've been sat charging, because it's so hot when I have the aircon on. So obviously that total journey time is going to be way off, as is the average speed. They're going to be significantly wrong, so please don't think I was driving at 30 miles an hour on the motorway, because I definitely wasn't. Right, okay, so yeah, let's get going. I believe our next stop is a service station, so I'm probably going to pick up some lunch while we're there. According to the sat nav, it's about 62 miles away, so yeah, let's get going. Okay, right, so we've arrived at Newport Pagnell services with 38% in the battery. Let's spin the camera around and we'll have a look at the dashboard. Okay, right, so we travelled 67.9 miles. Battery temperature is still way up there. So I guess this one could be quite a warm charge. Now, I'm going to get some food here as well. So if it does, if food takes longer, then I might give it a little bit extra time to cool down. In the meantime, however, believe it or not, I've managed to get yet another free vend from Ecotricity. So yeah, we'll plug in and we'll grab a charge and we'll grab a bite to eat, and we'll see where we are in about 40 minutes. Okay, so we're plugged in and we're pulling 20 kilowatts off this unit. So probably going to need about 40 minutes to get up to about 90%, I would guess. On the last charge, although we were pulling 25, it did sustain 25 right up until about 88%. So yeah, I'm expecting this one to be a pretty constant 20 kilowatts until shortly before we unplug. Right, I'm starving, so I'm going to get some food and I will chat to you guys in a bit. Okay, so that charge took quite a lot longer. Battery temperature is now at the first red mark, but we're back up at 91%. So what I'm going to do now is reset the first drive computer, reset the trip counter, and we'll get on our way. Okay, so we've arrived with 29% on the battery, travelled 84.4 miles, tons of traffic in London, London being London. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at. In terms of battery temperature, it has cooled down 1 notch, probably because we were sat doing nothing for so long. Tomorrow I'll go and charge up at a rapid so that we have it has a chance to cool down again before we head up to Coventry. Right, I'll see you later. So last night when showing the drive computer, I forgot to show the total on the drive computer. So yeah, that's that screen there. Okay, so it's Saturday morning and we are off to EVs in the Park today. Yesterday I did a rapid charge up to 93%, just to make sure we had full battery and we'd had a chance to cool down before the event today. So let's flip the camera around and we'll take a look at the dashboard. Okay, right, so we're going to reset the drive computers for this journey. And we'll also reset the trip counters. Okay, right, so we're good to go. We'll also have a quick look at the battery temperature. It should be nice and cool. Okay, it's about halfway. Now, I think we're probably going to need to charge maybe somewhere around Newport Pagnell services on the way to Coventry. I'm going to try and get as much of a charge in as possible. I'm going to try and go a reasonable distance and probably get the battery maybe down to about 20%, possibly a bit lower. Get a charge as close to 100% as I can. Reason being, we're going to be sat in the park all day, and while it's probably going to be very warm temperatures, at least I won't be driving. So with a bit of luck, the battery will have a chance to cool down. I'm thinking this might turn out a little bit better than if I was to do an extra charge on the way home. Yeah, let's see how this goes. I'm not really sure what the best charging strategy is here, but we'll try that. Right, off we go. Okay, so we've arrived at Newport Pagnell services. We have 22% left in the battery, 35 miles on the gone, and we've travelled 89.3 miles. Quick look at the drive computer. We've got 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour, an average speed supposedly of 53 miles per hour. If we have a look at the battery temperature, we're 1 notch above the centre point, and that literally changed about 10 minutes before we pulled in here. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in, I'm going to get some food, and then we will see where we are. Now, I might stop again at Watford Gap just to get a little bit more charge into the battery, but we'll see how we get on in a bit, see how much time we have. But at the moment, I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, so it might make sense to do the extra stop. Right, see you in a bit. Okay, so Ecotricity charges just booted us off after 45 minutes, and we're at 91%. I'm going to head on to Watford Gap Services and do a slight top up there before heading on to Coventry. So yeah, let's get going. Before I do, I'm going to, if I hit the right buttons that is, reset the drive computer, well the first one, and we will reset the trip counter. Okay, right, let's unplug and get going. Okay, right, so we're at Watford Gap Services. We are currently 1 notch below the first red mark. I forgot to show the temperature when we left Newport Pagnell, and it was 1 notch below where we are now. So we've gone up 1 notch in the 30 odd miles since there. Right, so we're going to plug in only for about 15 minutes because then we're going to have to get going. But yeah, we'll get a little bit of a top up to help us on our way. Okay, so we are seeing a slightly reduced rate of charge by like maybe 3 kilowatts, 4 kilowatts. But as we're near the top of the battery, that's to be expected anyway. So I don't really think we're seeing any major penalty for the temperature. Hopefully when we're stopped at EVs in the Park, we'll have plenty of time to cool down because we'll be parked up for a good few hours. Although if it's anything like yesterday, it'll probably be quite warm. So we'll we'll have to see how it goes. But hopefully we'll lose quite a bit of this extra temperature while we're sat around just talking to everyone else. But yeah, we'll give this about another 15 minutes and then we'll get on our way. Okay, right, so I forgot to film just as we pulled away there, but we were at 88% when we left that charger, and we were on the first, 1 notch below the first red notch on the temperature gauge. We are now at the first red mark. It's 11:08 AM. We've travelled 106 miles. I didn't reset the trip computer or drive computer 1 last time either because we only put in like 10-15% of the battery. Yeah, so we'll be here for a good few hours, maybe 5 hours or so. With a bit of luck, we'll lose a fair bit of this battery temperature, although as you can see, it's a lovely sunny day today and it's 22 degrees outside, so we might not lose quite as much as we would if it was a cooler day, but yeah, I think we'll do quite well. Anyway, we've arrived at EVs in the Park, at the War Memorial Park in Coventry. There are absolutely tons of EVs here. Right, so I'm probably going to film a little bit more while I'm here, chat to a few other people. We'll do a live stream a little bit later on, and yeah, hopefully it'll be a good day. Looking forward to it. Okay, so today was an absolutely fantastic day. Thanks to Craig for organising the event and for everyone who came along. Yeah, it was really good fun. Got to meet loads of you and see all of your amazing cars. Yeah, genuinely a really great event. Turnout was, I think there were over 100 cars here all told, which was a really huge turnout. So yeah, really good job, Craig, for getting all that sorted. Right, so I'm going to head off. First stop's going to be Leicester Forest East, and then we're going to stop at, I think, probably Doncaster Holiday Inn. So we've got 67% of the battery. LFE's not that far from here. I think it's probably about 30-ish miles, but I don't want to go below 40%. Now, over the course of today, our battery temperature has dropped to just one notch above the middle, which is bit better of a drop off than I thought I was going to get, but I guess we'll see what damage this first rapid charge is going to do. Right, so the drive computer has been reset and the trip counter's reset. In fact, I'm just going to reset the timer on the drive computer again. There we go. Right, so yeah, let's get going. So we're at Leicester Forest East. It looks like the charger on the left is on free vend. Let's have a quick look at our various stats. So averaging 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, travel 26 miles. See our battery temperature doing. Okay, so we've gone up one notch. Yeah, let's get plugged in. I'm going to get some food while I'm here, so we might go to 90%, we might go a little bit higher. Obviously if we go higher, it'll help us later on, and won't really add too much to penalise us in the way of temperature, just will get a slower charge rate. Right, so let's get plugged in and we'll see what kind of charge rate we're getting. Okay, so we're charging and we're pulling a, to be honest, pretty respectable 27 kilowatts. It's not the fastest charge speed ever, but with the battery temperature, oh actually we lost a notch on the battery graph.
Proceed to the highlighted route.
Well, that'll be why we're charging faster than I expected. We've lost a notch on the battery temperature, which is pretty much ideal. Right, cool, good stuff. I'm going to pop in and get some food and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so the charger has just kicked us off after 47 minutes. We've got to 97%. We are one notch below the first red mark. We are, to be honest, doing pretty well. I think we've got one more charge after this, so hopefully it should be fine. Right, where am I going? So if I reset this drive computer and reset this trip counter, and we'll get unplugged and get on our way. Okay, so we've arrived at Doncaster Holiday Inn, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, 56% average, 43% in the battery, and 67 miles left on the GOM. We've travelled about 70 miles since Leicester Forest East. There is the Polar Ultra charger we're going to use. Before we go any further though, let's see how the battery temperature's doing. Okay, so we're one notch below the first red marker, which is obviously pretty warm. But yeah, we'll get plugged in, and I guess we'll get a slower charge, but I guess we only need to get half the battery, but it gives me a good opportunity to pop inside and maybe get a coffee or something. So we're plugged in and we're pulling about 21 kilowatts, so we'll probably be here about 40 minutes, I guess, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, so we've just disconnected from that charger. We've got 94% in the battery, and the temperature is at the first red marker. That's fine because I don't think we're going to need to do any more charging. We've got 72 miles to get home, 144 miles on the GOM. I'm going to reset the trip computer, trip counter, and I'm also going to reset drive computer 1. Quick update on state of drive computer 2, and that's pretty much where we are at the moment. That hasn't been reset since we left London, yeah, bear in mind that the vehicle was on for quite a lot while we were at EVs in the Park. So 7 hours and 12 is obviously quite high, but that's because this vehicle was sat there keeping me cool because it was absolutely boiling, and for a while I just needed to sit in the car with the air conditioning on. That's also why the average speed is so low as well, because the car's been on idling for quite a while. Right, let's get going, and we'll see. I'm probably going to pop into Weatherby Services, mostly for a pit stop for myself rather than the car, just to grab a drink and use the toilets, and probably not going to need to charge the car. But yeah, let's see how we get on, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so we're at Weatherby Services, mostly a pit stop for me. Haven't put any charge in the car, but we'll have a quick look at the battery temperature, and we are one notch below the first red line. When we pulled in, we were at that first red line, so even just stopping for 5-10 minutes has been enough to lose that final notch there. Right, if I go back across to the drive computer stats, and we'll just get a quick update on where we are. So I'm not going to reset this as we've not actually put any charge in the car. So that's where we are at drive computer 1, and that's where we are at drive computer 2. I'll do another quick recap when we get home. Okay, so we've made it home with 14% in the battery, 21 miles on the GOM, and we've travelled 87.9 miles. Battery temperature is back up to the first red notch. And we'll just have a quick look at the the trip counters. 87.9 miles on A and 321.6 on B. As for the drive computers, we have got those numbers there. And for drive computer 2, which is the full journey, we've got those numbers there. So I'm going to wrap up this video here, but it seems like Lemon Tea Leaf strategy for the 40 to 90% charge cycle works really well. Yes, it was hot. If I'd have been doing full battery charges, I probably would have struggled significantly today. But by essentially treating the battery like a 24 kilowatt hour Leaf or a 30 kilowatt hour Leaf, and only using a portion of the battery, you get much better performance. Also, if you were to do this in a 24 or 30 kilowatt hour Leaf, you'd throttle for a lot more of that range, simply because it'd either be low voltage in the battery at the bottom percentages or harder to fill at the higher percentages, and you're not really bumping into either of those problems when you're within the 40 to 90% range of this battery. So actually, I think, James, you're onto something there. I really do. Obviously, more testing, we'll see just how reliable this is. But yeah, certainly I think this has worked out well, and I think if I had just gone for a standard strategy of just when I get to 10% or less charging, I really think I would have struggled a lot more on this journey. But particularly with the daytime temperatures being what they are at the moment. But yeah, your strategy has definitely saved me here, I think. So yeah, thanks for doing all the hard work and letting me benefit from it. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here. If you've been watching this far, thank you very much for staying with me. If you did like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.